It's the mid-2000s. The housing market in the United States is booming. Banks are celebrating record profits. Wall Street analysts are calling it the safest investment in the world. But somewhere, quietly, a few outsiders are staring at the numbers and feeling something deeply unsettling. They're seeing cracks no one else wants to see. And while the entire financial system is celebrating, these few people are preparing to bet against it. This is the gripping true story behind The Big Short by Michael Lewis, a financial thriller about the handful of investors who predicted the catastrophic collapse of the housing market years before the world economy crashed in the global financial crisis. At its core, The Big Short isn't just about finance. It's about seeing the truth when everyone else refuses to look. The book follows several unlikely characters: hedge fund managers, eccentric analysts, and independent investors who begin digging into the complicated world of mortgage-backed securities. What they discover is terrifying. Banks have been packaging risky home loans into complex financial products, selling them as safe investments, and spreading them throughout the entire global financial system. Millions of bad loans hidden behind layers of financial jargon. So these outsiders do something radical. They short the housing market, essentially betting that the entire system will collapse. And when it finally does, billions of dollars are made while the global economy falls apart. So what will you actually learn from this book? First, you'll learn how the financial system really works, and sometimes how badly it can fail. Lewis explains how mortgage-backed securities, collateralized debt obligations, and credit default swaps turned the housing market into a ticking bomb, and more importantly, why almost no one on Wall Street noticed. Second, the book reveals a powerful principle about markets. Markets are not always rational. Sometimes they're driven by greed, complacency, and groupthink. And when everyone believes the same story, that's often when the biggest mistakes happen. Third, The Big Short shows the value of independent thinking. The people who predicted the crash weren't the biggest banks or the most famous economists. They were outsiders who were willing to ask uncomfortable questions nobody else wanted to ask. Now, let's talk about what makes this book so powerful. One of its greatest strengths is storytelling. Instead of presenting dry financial theory, Lewis turns the housing crisis into a dramatic narrative filled with unforgettable characters, from quirky hedge fund managers to obsessive analysts who spend months digging through mortgage data. You're not just learning about finance, you're watching a financial disaster unfold in slow motion. Another strength is how Lewis explains extremely complex concepts in a surprisingly entertaining way. Credit default swaps, synthetic CDOs, mortgage bonds. These are topics that normally make people's eyes glaze over. But here, they're explained through real stories, real people, and real consequences. By the end, you'll understand the mechanics of one of the most important financial events of the 21st century. That said, the book isn't perfect. One potential weakness is that the financial terminology can still feel dense at times. Even though Lewis does a great job simplifying things, the world of derivatives and structured finance can occasionally slow the narrative down. Also, the book focuses heavily on the investors who profited from the crash. Some readers may wish there was more attention given to the broader human impact, the millions of people who lost homes, jobs, and savings during the crisis. Still, these critiques are minor compared to the power of the story. So, who is this book perfect for? If you're fascinated by finance, economics, or Wall Street history, this is an absolute must-read. It's also perfect for listeners who enjoyed films like The Big Short, or books about financial scandals and market psychology. And if you've ever wondered how the global economy nearly collapsed in 2008, this book will open your eyes. That said, this book might not be for everyone. If you're looking for a quick motivational business book or simple investing tips, The Big Short probably isn't the right fit. And if complex financial systems don't interest you at all, some sections may feel a bit technical. Still, for most listeners, this story is absolutely fascinating. Because once you understand what happened, you begin to see the financial world very differently. You realize that sometimes the biggest opportunities and the biggest dangers appear when everyone else believes everything is fine. If this story intrigued you, the full audiobook of The Big Short by Michael Lewis is even more compelling, filled with deeper details and unforgettable moments from inside the financial meltdown. If you'd like to experience the entire story, you can check out the audiobook through the link in the description. It's a simple way to support the channel while diving deeper into one of the most shocking financial stories ever told. And who knows, the next time a safe investment is being celebrated everywhere, you might remember the lesson behind The Big Short.